Well, hello there, my name is HW, and thank you so much for watching Tone Jiggy TV. My friends, I have assembled the ultimate Kemper setup. Let me explain. Okay, so putting together the ultimate Kemper setup, this is something I've given a lot of thought to because I get questions from people a lot, like, HW, what Kemper should I buy? Now, for me, the biggest sort of determining factor in what makes the ultimate setup, it's gotta be versatility. Now, of course, the Kemper can sound like all sorts of different amps. I get that, all the Kempers are versatile, but it's gotta be a Kemper setup that works in 3 locations. It's gotta work live, it's gotta work in the studio, and it's gotta work at home. Now, of course, every Kemper can work in those environments, but I think this setup really hones in on being the perfect solution, and it combines everything going on in the Kemper ecosystem. If you ask me what I should buy, you wanna get a Boss Kemper rig. This is the stuff you should buy. I think there is no better combination of hardware in the Kemper verse that works better at home, in the studio, and live. To me, this is it. And this is coming from someone who has a bunch of Kempers. I've got a rack there behind me. I've got a couple Kemper heads that I keep. One is at a buddy's studio, and the other one I keep in my video studio over here. So I'm using racks, I'm using heads. Live, I use the stage. But this unit together, this ultimate setup, this is, I think, the real winner. Okay, first things first, which Kemper are we gonna go with? To me, it's an obvious choice, it's the stage. Why? Well, to me, the stage is super portable. In fact, ever since I bought the stage, I have it's been living in this gig bag, this Kemper bag, and it literally almost never comes out in my studio. You might be saying, HW, if it's your favorite Kemper, why don't you use it all the time for everything? Well, I like making videos with the head, the Kemper head, because I think it's very easy to push buttons and use. It's very easy to visualize and see. I have a rack. I have a couple of racks actually that live over at the studio desk over there. But to me, if I could only have one, it would be the stage. Since I bought this unit, it has lived in that gig bag because it literally sits over by the door. I have my performances saved on here. I take it out to update. It's always ready to go, and it's this big. This is the only thing I need to carry to a gig. Now, that's a gig where I'm not using anything loud and on stage, and I think that's very important because to me, the future of live music is gonna be in-ear monitors. You see in-ear monitors first at the very professional level, and it comes down, it's in churches. Now I see it all over the place. Even at like bars and clubs, you see a lot of in-ear monitors. People just understand that isolating sound in a live music environment, while not classic rock and roll cool, is just the way to go. And I love having the Kemper for that ability. I love being able to take this, grab and go. To me, this is what I want. I don't want to bring a foot switch and a head, whatever. This is what I want. And shout out to the good people over at That Laser Shop. I'll put a link to their Instagram in the description. They put these really cool wooden edges, and they're just pieces of real wood. This is the walnut, and they put the Tone Jiggy logo on there for me. And I think that just makes the Kemper stage look absolutely money. But you might be thinking, HW, I have a stage and I don't love, editing it on the fly. It's all here, but I gotta bend down and do everything. I wish I didn't have to bend down. My friend, this is why I just bought an iPad Pro specifically for this. And one of the awesomest things about the Kemper is now that we have this wireless editor, we can hook this to this via Wi-Fi and we can use the new editor. I'm gonna do that in a little bit in this video. But all that to say, if you're even at a gig and you wanna take more than just this, you want more control because you're gonna be dialing in sounds, you don't even have to bend over if you use this iPad right here. I also have a pencil in case you want to look really like technical. And right here, let's say you're profiling, you could hook this up and you could even type in it without even using a computer. So you don't even have to hook to a computer. You can just profile with this unit. Again, I use a different unit to profile, but c'est la vie. If I could only have one, it would be this with this. Big shout out to the dudes at Mission Engineering. These are my ultimate Kemper setup. You gotta have at least, it's okay, that's only like 1,800 bucks. You gotta have at least 2 to Mission Engineering. These are the EP1 KPs. They work perfectly with the Kemper. I set one up for to be my morphing, and I set another one up to be volume. So you never need to bend over because you got your iPad. You've got the most portable rig right here. In the studio, it can sit right under your desk, and you're good to go. But for live, this is definitely the best choice. You of course can use the desktop editor, and it's super portable. You've got it going. Now, what about for home use? What about home use? This is where I think Kemper has blown it out of the water. Because you guys, I haven't said this enough on the channel, but the editor's great, the desktop editor, the iPad is great, but the real star of the show has gotta be the powered cabinets. The powered cabinets are super incredible because you can use them with any Kemper, powered, not powered. In fact, I would tell everybody, just buy powered cabinets. There's no reason to really buy the unpowereds unless, I don't know, it just seems like if you buy powereds, you could always switch your Kemper out later for a stage or whatever. You could use that one cabinet for multiple Kempers, you know? And the biggest thing I've seen is how many Kemper stage users wanted to be able to come home and just plug right into a unit, and here it is. And here is the best thing about these powered cabinets. The powered cabinets allow you to do something live, if you want, and in your house. They allow you to get amp in the room tone. Now you might be thinking, HW, amp in the room tone, well, what about the coloration of the microphones and the this and the that? Are you sure it's amp in the room tone? My friends, let me tell you something. They sound so close, like so close. And we're gonna get into why that is. But these give you, really to me, the advantage of amp in the room tone. Plus, with two of them, that's right, there's two of them here, you are gonna get something that you really cannot get with a traditional guitar amplifier unless you get two of them. You are gonna be able to run left to one, right to the other, and you are gonna get not only amp in the room tone, but you will get a stereo image from two. So imagine this Kemper setup. It is ready to go everywhere. Now, let's throw this thing, let's open these up, let's get these in a couple configurations, and let me show you how I would use them in some different environments. Dudes, how cool are these? I mean, look at this. Here, this has this great little, I mean, look at that. That is like, gosh, this is really one of the best looking Kemper products I think they've made. I mean, this thing is just, this is beautiful, man. You turn it on right there. I'm gonna get these going, and I'm also gonna open my iPad, which I really did buy specifically for this. So I'm super excited about this for all sorts of reasons. It's gonna be some great stuff I can do on this. Like watch Tone Junkie TV while I'm in bed. That's gonna be good, right? But I'm really excited to run the editor on this. To me, being able to have the editor and everything is just, what a step into the future. I mean, it's like, it's hard to think that it's gonna get better from here. But, you know, it always gets better. How do you turn this thing on? There we go. I'll tell you, this thing sounds really killer with the two different cabs set up right here. And this is how I would use this thing live, or I'm sorry, at my house. You know, I would leave this set up, and then I can always take this to go with me whenever I want, right? And really, if I'm willing to double up my cables, I can literally just unplug this and take it with me. So for me, being able to throw it in a bag and just get up and go is really important. I can have a great setup maintained here at home with amp in the room type tone. And in a future video, I'm gonna shoot one of these out compared to a real amp, turn them at the same level and just use a room mic and show you just how good this Kemper cone really is. The other thing that's really cool is I don't really have to sit down and you know, fiddle knobs and stuff. I don't even have to really plug into my computer. Here's the iPad that I just got, and all you've got to do is go into System, and as long as you have the Wi-Fi enabled, I'm gonna launch Rig Manager. Okay, so it says scanning for devices, and you can go in and do a demo mode, but I don't want to connect this to my router and everything right now, so I'm just going to connect these two devices remotely or directly. So here I just open the camera of my app, and I come down here and I let it see the QR code, and boom, it sees the QR code and it says join my profiler network, and boom, these things are now supposedly synced together. So I'll go back here, I'll go back to the Kemper app, and it should say scanning for devices, and boom, it's connected, my profiler. Connecting, okay, cool. So here I am, I connected, you know, now this thing is controlling this thing. And that's really cool. So, you know, you can see I have all sorts of ability to really do everything right here in my performance mode. So I can change input settings, I can change effects, micro pitch, let's say I don't want it. I have a whole list of effects that I can go through here. And you know, I can switch out my harmonic pitch for something else. I can change delay settings. I can set morphing, and I've got all that, you know, hooked up right here. This to me is really cool because maybe I would sit my iPad here and I would adjust some things this way. Maybe I would just take this with me in a backpack and I'd be able to make adjustments. The other cool thing is the ability to tell somebody else, here, can you play this guitar while I go stand out front of house? And kind of do it live like that. I mean, I think that's incredible. You know, and really the biggest thing for me is it sounds like amp in the room tone here. I have all of the ability to edit. I mean, let's think about this for a second. No other device has this editor now. Like, there's no iPad editor for Helix or QC or Fractal to my understanding. And so for me, walking into this scenario here, I can walk in, I have the luxury of not even having to bend over. I can do everything I want on my iPad. This will also certainly help me in a live situation. And when I do want to take off, I mean, look at this. I can just turn this off. I mean, this is how I personally do things. I would double up all these cables and I would literally unplug everything, and I would have all these cables right here, and I would leave them, and I would take this and I'd be ready to go. I don't need anything else. I would take this, put it in, and I'd have a duplicate of every cable. I would take these too, but I would have a duplicate of every cable in my bag already. That way I know when I get there, I've got my in-ear monitors, I've got everything. And let's say you're doing a live show where you want to be able to have big stereo cabs. You can take these with you. That's up to you. Or you end up kind of doing the thing where maybe you just want one because you can't run stereo, but you want some sound on stage. To me, this thing creates a modularity. It makes this whole setup modular, and that's really what I love about it. That is great sound. If you find yourself in a setting like this, maybe you're at a desk, maybe you're in a studio, you've got some rack gear behind you, this Ultimate Kemper setup will work here as well, and I think work really wonderfully. You can sort of set it on the ground. I've got it plugged in down here, and so I don't want to yank on that too much, but It's down here at the ground. I'm not using it up here, but I can still control it here. It's still tied into my DAW. And I also can control it on Rig Manager with a hard connection, right? I still have that ability. So it's still integrated into my setup. Now, I could have another rack unit, but you know, one Kemper to rule them all. That's all you really need. So here, I think even though it's the stage, and in the past you've had to bend over and do everything, its ability to connect to Rig Manager as well as the iPad editor, this allows you to sort of ask yourself, okay, I'm gonna have it now at my desk setting in a studio environment, and I'm gonna listen through, I'm gonna record directly, I'm gonna listen through monitors, maybe I'm doing some overdubs, I'm doing tracks for, you know, a project or something, and I can either choose to pull up Rig Manager or I can use the iPad editor. It doesn't matter. However you wanna do it is up to you. And from here, again, you can take it with you. Do you want one cab, two cabs, three cabs? You could do that. You can do that with the routing. It is possible. You could run a wet, dry, wet. You could. And you could have full stereo and a dry in the middle. You could do that. And you could even, I mean, you could do some wacky stuff, I guess, if you wanted to do that. You could, maybe you could do four. I guess you could do four. I mean, they're all powered monitors, so you can kind of do whatever you want. But I think what's really cool about this is Kemper as an ecosystem now is, to me, really unparalleled. We have a desktop editor, so every Kemper integrates with your DAW and your computer, and you basically can plug into a 1/4 inch, and via software on your computer, it's like you're working with a plugin. So that's ultra convenient. If you don't want to use your, if you don't want to plug into a computer and you feel like the stage, you know, you don't want to bend over, well, you've got the iPad editor. And you've got it, you can do all sorts of things. And you can still connect to the internet with it if you connect in router mode. If not, you can just use access mode, the access point mode, and there you go. You can really do everything the Kemper can do right there from that iPad. I've run into one or two things that I wasn't sure how to do, but I was pretty much able to figure everything out. Scrolling through profiles is still a little cumbersome, but hopefully that'll get fixed with an update. And then from there, taking the Kemper and just being in a home environment. Maybe this isn't your home environment. Maybe your home environment is a bedroom or something. You have the Kemper cab that you can turn up, and you have the speaker modeling that gives you a more amp in the room sound, or you can use it how I mostly use it, which is you know, flat mode, where it's just flat response mode. It's still that guitar speaker kind of limited range, which I think really helps. To me, the Kemper is the best FR that I've run into. That's just my opinion. It works the best sort of with the Kemper, and my profiles, Tone Junkie profiles, sound really how I kind of intend them to sound. If you want a bigger cab, you can get 2 Kemper cones, go to a 212. But to me, this is the ultimate Kemper setup. And this is what I would say, if you are looking to get into the Kemper world, buy some of these pieces and you can always upgrade to more of them later. Like if you want a Kemper, I'd say check out a stage. After that, if you said, what's the next best accessory to have? I'd say, well, if you have an iPad, you're already there. But let's say you said, what's the next best thing I should buy? I'd say get a stage and get a powered monitor, a powered cab. HW, what would you get after that? Maybe get a new guitar. No, but you could either then go get yourself an iPad, or do you have a use for stereo image at your home? That could be a question that you might want to ask yourself. I think it's very cool. I don't think it's necessary. I'm a big fan of recording and playing in mono because most of the time guitar players put too much stereo image, like in the worship world or in like the really delay edgy stuff, and they enjoy it, but the front of house is not, they're not going to mix you with that wide a stereo feel unless you're like a trio or you are the Edge. Like, I mean, you're going to get panned one side or the other, piano's going to go over here like another guitar player. So you're enjoying the stereo image that makes like just a D chord sound immaculate, but in actuality, you're sort of wasting it. You really might be more concerned with how your guitar sounds in mono, because that's often where you're going to get placed. And look, that's going to change everywhere you go. Maybe you got a sound guy who loves your stereo image, and that's cool. Good for you. But I'd say Kemper, maybe dual cabs, maybe the iPad. I mean, you've got the editor. As long as you got a computer, you're good there. And then last but not least, man, you can go ahead and do some really cool stuff like get some of these accessories. I'll do another video on accessories, but this is one of the coolest things, I think. That's awesome. You can also get them for the remote. And man, I forget the name of the gentleman who sent me these, but I'm gonna put this on my Kemper. Look, someone had custom Kemper, you know, turny things. What are they called? Knobs? Knobs made for the Kemper, and they're like cut out of metal, and they're beautiful. And so I'm gonna put these on, and I may totally forget who it is off the top of my head. Bro, comment below if you sent me these, because I absolutely love you, and they're custom made in Japan, and I can't remember. Gosh, I'm gonna go back and look at my emails, but I meant to really say thank you for these because I'm gonna use these. My name has been HW. To me, this is the ultimate Kemper setup. Next couple of videos, I'm gonna actually shoot out the Kemper cab. We're gonna figure out how good is the actual amp in the room versus a profile through the Kemper cab turned on with, and we'll do amp in the room, we'll do flat mode, and we'll do, you know, like a speaker model mode. I got to make sure that I use an amp that has the modeled speaker in there. But I might just use the Vibraverb because I was doing that the other day and I was very impressed how well the Kemper and a 12-inch speaker really capture the sound of that 15-inch real Vibraverb speaker. That was nutso. And then I'm gonna do a proper, like how to build performances and proper review of the new iOS editor, but I gotta wet my whistle on it a little more. I just got this iPad. I've been waiting for it. They were all sold out. Hey, enough jibber jabber, HW. It's time to end the video. Please like, subscribe if you get anything out of Tone Junkie TV. Tons more content coming at you. Love you guys. Thank you so much. I've been HW. Go buy a Kemper, and if you want, there's a really good Tone Junkie loaded Kemper at British Audio. You get all the Tone Junkie profiles for free. It's the same price as a normal Kemper. They have stages. They have powered cabs, regular cabs. They've got everything. My name's been HW. HW.